a corporate example, our own corporate site of how Twitter is used. All right? So we get our brand up there, and we'll talk a little bit about how you do that. And we share what we're doing here from a corporate perspective. Jason Pinto's here in the front row with me today, and he manages, with his gang, the corporate stuff that's posted out. And what he did was, he says, John Foley speaking at the Anatomy of a Successful Marketing Campaign at the IPMA Conference. Now, I could have, and we did, send out emails, and we put it in our newsletters that were mailed, and we put it in our e-newsletters, right? But we also use this channel to get that information out that we're going to be there, right? So people that were on this social media network could now follow us and find out what booth we're at when we went there. So it's another way that you can communicate at the corporate side for Twitter. Spread the word. You can take information of what everybody else may be giving to you and then retweet it. We'll talk about that in a minute. So you can spread the word of what's important to others on Twitter. So if I have followers that are following me, I usually will post stuff from magazines that I feel is relevant. So maybe a nice case study of a multi-channel cross-media campaign from DM News. How many people read DM News? All right? If we're going to sell marketing solutions, I'm assuming this, so most of you folks are going that way, we need to read where marketers read. Now, I just slipped into another presentation I usually do, but the bottom line is it fits in here, right? Here's me. So I'm sorry, I was ahead of myself. Struggling publishers try customization. And I used that DM News there as an example. Tom Wilde's the president and CEO of a company, customer advice, W.A. Wilde in Holliston, Mass. Every time I do this thing, I said, look, I'm going to talk about you again today. Is you still okay with it? Right? And I said, he says, I tell everybody, why? I don't even need to go anyplace else. John Foley keeps me up to date and tells me everything I need to do to keep, on the information I need to read. He didn't have to go to DM News and find that piece. He could read it if he trusts me, and we build a relationship there. Does that make sense? So I post information that I feel is going to help my customers or my prospects in one way or other, and I engage in a conversation. Right? So I find Andrew online, just like I found Paul Strack, Twitter. That's how we met. He didn't buy anything from me yet. I'm not asking him to sign a piece of paper today. What I want to do, though, is build a relationship with him, just like we would in the other channels. Right? Mail, print, variable data, but build a relationship until someday he says, wow, you know what, he's got that piece that I don't have, or whatever. But we've already got something going. That's what we want in business, right? When we're prospecting. So, the other thing is, it's very measurable. And I don't have time to go into all the ways you can measure it, but you'll see when you get on there, I just had a link here. Yeah, see that link right there? It's a short URL, it's called. When you build those and people click on them, you can track them. So just like you can track how many people use some kind of personalized landing page, also known as pearls, you know how they work, all right? Well, they're really just a link, right? Back to a web page. Well, here you can make a link to a link and track those. How many people think those are important to marketing? How many people think those are important to marketing? Okay, hopefully by the end of the day we'll all be raising our hands, because any time you can measure the things you do for marketing departments, it's important. That's really what they want, right? So anyways, retweeting. It's really just taking someone else's tweet, right, which is just 140 characters or less, maybe there's some linked in there, and telling the story again to your audience. Because Rick might not be following Paul, but he follows me. Right? So when Rick sends something up, I retweet it, and then Paul can choose to read it if he wants to. Relevant information, two different audiences, one's just not following me. All right? So you can retweet, you can join a conversation. At home here, Jason really wanted to go to this event, but he wasn't invited. Right? So what he did was, he just, using the @ symbol in the front, spoke to the person that's running the event and said, hey, I don't see a way to sign up for this, can I go? And next thing you know, he was invited to the event. Right? And that's how you reply to someone else's tweet, or you could send a direct message inside of here. But we'll talk mostly about retweets and @s. Following people on Twitter. Right? So you can go on there and find the people. I'm going to show you today. Quickly how you find people. There's many other ways, so I'm just going to show you a couple of ways so you can find prospects as soon as you get back. And there are updates, the people that you follow, you see real time. So there's a screenshot of a direct message, which really might replace email someday. So if you're not believing the video or just somewhat of what I'm saying today, it's another platform, and I know you're going, oh my God, I can barely get through my email today, right? But it is. You can send a direct message. Instead of sometimes, I'm sorry if I'm overusing you, Paul, but we'll direct message about QR codes as an example. I didn't use email. And what was interesting, made me think of Paul, is because I saw something he wrote, and then I direct messaged him right away. Still working that conversation. Viral, we'll talk about how things go viral in here as soon as you retweet stuff, people, and then they can follow you. Searching by company. Search, if I wanted to go find somebody, a company up the street, hey, I wonder if my best customer is online. I want to listen to them. How many people are in any sales meetings say we need to listen first? I want to listen to them. Well, if they're online and they're chatting, then we can go on there and listen to them. And how you do that, you do search at the top of the page, you'll see it right there, and you search, you put in the company name, and you'll see if they're on there. I'll show you some other search methods too. My favorite. How many people would like to find more prospects tomorrow? Wow, I still can't get anybody to raise all that. How many people, you got enough business? Right? Exactly, Wayne, thank you, right? Everybody needs more. So what if I told you, this is just one example, that you could go on there and type in Director of Marketing and find people that are on Twitter. Wouldn't that be pretty? I mean, if I didn't know Jason from another company today, and I need to reach that Director of Marketing, and there was a way I could follow him tomorrow, why would I not do that? I don't know. You have to think what a great way to be able to follow them. So you put that in your results. Here's all the people that have some combination of that type. So right down here, higher education. How many people sell to higher education? All right. Did you know Bob Dreger before? You know her now, right? You didn't know her then. And she's the marketing director for Fox Valley Technical College. She's a wife, Christian, miniature pincher dog, fan of wine, sushi, yoga, fishing, social media. How awesome is that? Look at the marketing data she just gave us to maybe use one of your nice programs that you put together. Maybe it's a three-dimensional piece, or it's any kind of direct mail or whatever. Look at fan of wine, sushi, right? What are you going to put on the thing? My point is, there she is by searching on the title. You can also search by radius, 50 miles, 100 miles. And that's in the advanced search function of Twitter. Right? I promise I would love to do the whole thing. We could sit here all day. I'd have the computer, I'd show you, but we just would never get through it. I only need you to get little bits to get started. Well, I don't really need to do anything. You need to do that, I hope. So, you can search as much as you post. And you can search on things, for example, I met Joe last night from Canon. How's that plug? Right? So anyways, and how did we meet? We met on Twitter. Another one. Now we're really more partners, hardware, software, but, and then we found out last night we had a bunch of common friends. The folks over at InfoTrends are all my buddies and his buddies, and he went to school with them. It's a way that we met, that we would not have met otherwise, unless I found my time to go over there and say, hey, my name's John Foley, even at this event. All right, so you can do a lot of searches. So what he did last night, he said, I wonder if anybody's talking about this conference. And he used a thing called the hashtag and put in search pound NAPQ09. And guess what? He's watching what Jason and I were tweeting away yesterday. How many people saw me with my cell phone tweeting and Andrew's thing? I mean, using my cell phone. Anybody? Paul did. Well, the last time I did this discussion, everybody saw me on my cell phone. I said, how many people thought I was being rude? And I'm telling you, 80% of the people raised their hands. I wasn't being rude. I was totally tuned into Andrew. And I was telling the audience what Andrew was talking about. I mean, I couldn't type fast enough to get that information out there, right?